Hi, Research Methods students. This is the first video that I'm doing to help you with your literature searches. It's a little tutorial. This first one will just give you the basics of getting into a literature search. So we're going to look at the different databases that are available for you to search the psychology literature to find articles appropriate for your project. Then I'm going to encourage you to create your own EBSCOhost account and show you why this is a good thing and how helpful it can be. And then finally, we'll actually get into searching through the abstracts. First thing that you're going to want to do is set limits based on what your assignment is. So you might need to set the year limit. You might want to only search for peer-reviewed articles. Then I'm going to talk about how you can improve your search terms. One of the big problems that students tend to have is not being able to find enough literature, and there are some tricks that you can do to help you really start with a big, broad base of articles to search from, and then you want to narrow the search so that you're only getting information and articles that are going to be related and helpful for your project. Okay, so I'm going to suggest that you open up another window now to get into the library so you can follow along while I do this. Or you can just get into the library, from the main page. Okay, I'm going into the off-campus database because I am off-campus. You just sign in with your email and your regular password and log in. So we are going to go just to the psychology databases. And you see there are three of them here: Psych Articles, Psychology Collection, and Psych Info. Psych Articles only has articles that can be accessed online. So it misses a lot of information that you might still be able to get even though there's not a direct click to the link. So I don't like to use Psych Articles. If it's an emergency and you need an article right now, then it can be helpful. But Psych Info covers everything in Psych Articles plus more. So Psych Info is the one that I tend to use. The Psychology Collection is broader even than that, but for now we're going to stick with the Psych Info, which has the good peer-reviewed journal articles in it. So before we even get started with the search, I want to encourage you to make your own EBSCOhost. Get your own account in there. So if you go up under Sign In, it'll give you the option to create a new account. Right, and you just put in, I don't even think you have to put your name or anything in here, but so you make yourself a username and a password. This is just, you'll be the only one who knows this. Your teacher won't be able to know it. I won't know it, right? It's just a regular website. For me, I'm just going to say cancel, and then I'm going to sign in. So let me tell you why I want you to do this and why it's going to be helpful, right? So while you're searching for articles, you want to be able to save the things that you find. And if you have an account, you can save it into this folder, and then the articles stay there until you delete them. You can see, look, here's one from 2010, right? So I have the same thing saved in here for years. You can make different folders for different classes. I have folders for my different research assistants who've also been using this, my account, our memory lab account. So it's just very useful to be able to save articles. You can even save these abstracts, right, and then go back later and look and review them then. So it's very useful for that. Second thing that I find really useful is that you can set preferences. And the one that I really like to set, I leave almost everything the same, except for this one. So the result list display, right? What I want to do instead of standard, what I look at is what's called detailed. And what that does is when I search for a particular term, it shows me not just the title of the articles, it gives me the abstract right on the page there. It just saves a lot of clicking back and forth between the article and an abstract. I just find it much easier. You can put more results on a page if you want. I don't know why I've kept mine at 10 forever. Maybe let's put that up to 20. Okay, and then I can just save my preferences, and it'll stay the same every time I open it up. Okay, so let's go back out now and start our search. And again, if you want to follow along, pause now and set yourself up an account. Okay. So before you even start doing your search, it's going to be helpful to set the limits based on whatever your assignment is. In my assignments, usually you're going to have to choose a peer-reviewed articles, and then you'll be limited to a certain number of years, usually 5 years in the past. For what I'm going to show you today, what I'm going to do is limit myself to an earlier time so that it doesn't overlap with the search that you'll be doing later. Oops, not 99. All right, so I'm limiting myself to 2000 to 2009, and again, peer-reviewed journal publication type is what I'm looking for. So now that I've set my limits, I'm going to put in my search term. So I'm going to just put in what we're looking for, which is mind wandering, and let's see what we come up with. Okay, so I've come up with 25 results. That's not a lot. One of the things you're going to find is that you'll find more because this is a much more common topic now than it was in 2015 years ago or so. But I'm going to show you now how to broaden your search to start with. Okay, so using and finding good search terms is very tricky. It's one of the more difficult things when you first start using PsycInfo. So I only have 25 to search from. Chances are I'm missing something. I'm missing something else that was published in those 9 years, and often it's because of the term that I'm using. So let's try to expand this a little bit. The way that EBSCOhost does its searches is not the same as a Google search. It's looking right now for mind wandering, and it's only looking for that in a full term. So it will only find mind wandering, that exact term. So instead, maybe I want to put in mind end wandering. So now anywhere it sees wandering and anywhere it sees mind, it'll provide that. So I'd search now for mind end wandering. All right, so I added a couple of articles. Now I'm up to 31 articles, so I have a few more that I've added. Even better, and this is a great trick to remember, so I'm using mind wandering. What if somebody's article uses the word wanders or wandered or some version of that? What I can do is use an asterisk. So mind and wander asterisk, and now it's going to find my, let me try even mind and wand there. It's going to find mind wander, wanders, wandering, you get the idea. So now I'll search for mind and W-A-N-D-E with an asterisk. And okay, so I added 9 more. So now I have 40 articles to choose from. So that's a good start. Okay? So I have that to start with, but now I need to narrow my search to really find the articles that are going to be useful for me. There's a few ways to narrow your search. So you can look at the major heading and narrow based on that. The subject is even more specific. So the major heading is a little more broad, anything dealing with sustained attention in the brain. The subject is more specific, behavior problems, brainstorming, civil rights. I don't know what that would be. But you can limit based on that. We've already limited the publication. You can limit just to specific journals. So if I know Psychological Science actually is a good journal, it has very readable journal articles in it because it's made for a general audience. So that might be good to limit to that to find articles that are going to be very readable. Age is the age of the participants. Right? So we do have some looking at children and mind wandering, looking at adults and mind wandering. We're not going to limit that because we don't mind. Gender, obviously. Classification, again, this is the broader classification that it fits under. Methodology, you might want to limit that. Maybe you want to see somebody else has done a literature review on this. That could be a really helpful thing to start with. If I want just empirical studies, then I get rid of the clinical case information. I get rid of the brain imaging. So for us right now, we're not going to limit the methodology, but that is also another possibility. Okay? And again, so tests and measures, this tells you the kind of tests that they've used. You wouldn't limit by this, I don't think. And the population, again, is just humans, right? There we go. Inpatients, right? Is it a clinical sample or is it just a regular sample? Sometimes you'll see animal in there, but not for this, obviously. Okay, so just to show you how that narrows it, I'm going to go and now just look at cognitive processes. Okay. So it gets me down to just 4, but let's take a quick look at this. So I have it sorted by the newest date. I kind of like to sort by that, but there are other different ways that you can sort. And so you can look, so this is an fMRI study, Stroop performance, ADHD. That's probably going to be way too detailed for us. This one is not going to be helpful. Neither is that one. Okay, so it seems like I've narrowed a little too much and I haven't found anything I'm interested in. So if I want to get rid of that, I can take a look up on the top left-hand page of the page. Here are all my limiters. Let's get rid of this cognitive process limiter. I just remove it. So you can always do that if you've gotten rid of too many of your options. Okay, so what you have here then, the beginning of the basics, right? You have access to your articles. You've now got 40 of them, and in the next video we're going to start looking at how to choose among those articles, among those abstracts, based on your assignment.